All right, everybody. Listen, I know we're all feeling sad about Trump winning. I get it. I understand. It sucks. This is a bad situation. But I need you to understand that the majority of people who voted for Trump did so fully knowing that this election was one in which women's rights to bodily autonomy was truly on the line, as well as the rights of countless other marginalized groups. And yet they voted for Trump anyway under the false assumption that Donald Trump was going to create a dream economy, that he would line their own pockets. Because of their own ignorance and their greed, they have cast a ballot that will doom them all. It also dooms us, and it's hard to, get past that point, but I ask that you guys, instead of dooming over these results, you get excited for the inevitable bad that is to come. You get excited to take joy in the suffering of those who would not listen as we desperately try to tell them that's not what tariffs do. The people who are now forced to find out what tariffs really do, because their ballot actually matters, their vote mattered, and they're about to find out the hard way. And all the while, I want all of you to point at them and laugh. Not a shred of sympathy. We tried to tell them. We certainly did. Who has a link to that one post? PA, factory, worker, tariffs, Christmas, bonus. Has anyone else, I covered it on stream, I think last night. Oh my god. Currently, it's considered unfounded but not debunked according to Snopes. But the claim is, results have already started. This is from an American woman today. My husband works for a small manufacturing company, and here in southwestern PA, that means most employees are Trump voters. When the president of the company sat them down today to tell them their annual Christmas bonus would not come this year because they now need to purchase at least a year's worth of products prior to January 21st due to the proposed tariffs, they did not understand. My husband said that their company president had to explain what a tariff is and how it will directly hurt their economy. They all thought the foreign company paid the tariff. This is the level of ignorance voting against your own interests here in PA, where we failed American women and children last night. It's apparently a comment made in response to a YouTube video about the election results. So it might not be true, but man, the detail in it, bro, it sounds true. What's this? Oh, oh yeah, I saw this too. I just voted for him because he's gonna kill Obamacare. I'm unemployed, and Obamacare fucking sucks. I'd rather just have the ACA by itself instead of this communism shit. Obamacare is the ACA, Affordable Care Act. It is literally keeping you alive, retard. You voted to take away your own health care. Look it up. It's true. Why the fuck do people have two different names for it? Obama equals bad and affordable equals good. I fucking hate Democrats. This is a 4chan conversation. The guy finally looks it up, finds out that he was wrong, and then blames it on the Democrats. He blames it on the Democrats that he thought of it as Obamacare. For those who don't know, Obamacare was a term come up with by Republicans as an insult to it, to make it sound bad. Because the Affordable Care Act sounded too good, and people were in favor of it when it was referred to by name and talked about. And so, this is the type of education these voters had. And I want us to point and laugh, like, haha, you voted against your own healthcare, you fucking retard. Just like as this guy said. It is literally keeping you alive, retard. You voted to take away your own healthcare. This is the type of energy we need to bring to the playing field. Thank you, random 4chan poster, dunking on this Trump supporter. Rare 4chan poster W. That said, we are seeing what seems to be a pretty quick turnaround, especially based on Google search trends, of voters realizing that they should have probably known a thing or two about these topics before they took Trump at his word and voted for these policies. Cry harder, libtards. Trump is your daddy now. Oh, Wuhong Lee, we're laughing hysterically at the fact that you guys are celebrating while you can. We're gleefully excited for what's about to come for you guys. You guys get what you voted for. Just remember how much you laughed and celebrated now when the tariffs hit, or when you get called in a work meeting in a couple weeks to find out you're not getting your Christmas bonus. I love that still they're coming in to, like, gloat because they don't realize what's coming for them. It's so funny to me. This is why I absolutely have zero sympathy for them once they start complaining about what they've done to themselves.
Alright, we are currently in the midst of an information war, and I'd like to say that America as a whole is losing. If you've been watching my show for a while now, you know that I relentlessly talk about the perversion of right-wing news, or the right-wing ecosystem, but it's not even that. Russian disinformation has successfully seeped into the mainstream so much that we have people like Vivek Ramaswamy spewing Russian talking points, people like Elon Musk spewing Russian talking points verbatim on a platform that he owns. And we'll get to the information war in 1 second, but the broader point here is people were so uninformed when they went to vote that on November 7th, the day after the election, the day that Trump won, or the morning after Trump won, people were searching Trump tariffs, Trump tax plan, Trump deportation, Trump abortion ban, and all of these spiked on Google results the day after the election. If you see at the bottom where my cursor is, November 4th happens, then November 5th happens.
Isn't it grim how little searches there were for these topics until after Trump won? Isn't that crazy? That, like, Trump's voters were not Googling or researching jack shit about his policies. They were taking him at his word the whole time, and then he got elected, and they, like, clearly something happened after he got elected where they were like, oh shit, maybe we should know. Maybe there is already effects taking place, particularly if you work in manufacturing in the US.
And on November 6th, around that time, people then begin searching Trump abortion ban, what are tariffs, at a 5 to 6 times higher rate. And my broader point here is to move back to the information war. We are losing this information war. People were gaslit into thinking that Donald Trump's policies relating to tariffing exports from China, relating to ending the war within 20...
People need to be talking about the fact that he also promised to eliminate income tax. He's promised to do this, and that tariffs are going to be how we make our federal funds from now on, as if we're taxing the other country's government or companies. He's like, people need to talk about that too. His fucking tax policy is batshit. Like, literally, we're going to be, I think it's $3 trillion in deficit within 10 years is the estimation of economic experts currently, if he follows through on his tax policy plans.
24 hours of becoming the president-elect, which it's been more than 24 hours, not a single war has been ended. Trump is not going to be able to end these wars with a stroke of a pen. All of these things...
I will say, I was expecting within hours of Trump being announced as the victor of the election that Putin would pull his forces out of Ukraine. If he's smart within the next... Before Trump even takes office, or the day he does... Putin will pull all of his forces out of Ukraine. That'll really help to cement, like, the narrative Trump really needs to build and hold, that, like, just him being in office makes things peaceful around the world. That is, of course, you know, Putin wants Trump to be in power because it weakens America, so he needs to do that if he wants Trump to be able to glide off of his non-existent laurels.
Were burned to the minds of American people through Twitter. And what I want to do today is I want to break down some of this disinformation, because in order to win in this information war, we need to be pushing back. We need to be firing back.
I do love that everyone unanimously is pushing so hard. Like, you guys gotta be dropping as much support as possible. Do it despite the chuds coming in to, like, gloat about Trump winning in my chat as we speak. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Comment down below on this video. Comment, like, who up Xander in their hall or something. Just for the algorithm. Who up Xander in their hall. And then reply, OMG me. Just because it'd be funny. But yeah. But, like, I'm glad that everybody is recognizing, yeah, we need to lean hard into promotion, because the left's got to grow online. It's got to. It's not even an ideal anymore. It's a necessity.
Sorry if the analogy is a little bit violent, but we need to be firing back with facts. So what I'd like to do is, this tweet just went viral today. And stick with me for just 1 second, because this is important. This tweet contains lie after lie after lie. It also just distorts real facts to make them seem more favorable towards Donald Trump only 2 days after he became the president-elect. And the worst part is, I mean, the last time I refreshed, this tweet had 70,000 likes. Now it has 100,000 likes and 5 million views. So going back to my point, we are fighting an information war, and right now it is happening a lot of the times on Twitter or on X. So we need to be pushing back on all of these lies relentlessly, or else we're going to be underwater. We're going to be underwater. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe to be a part of this new resistance, and let's jump in. This reads, Trump is president-elect for 2 days. And I do want to say, everything I'm about to read is either a distortion of the truth or a lie. For example, let's read this first one. Stock market hits record highs. Really? Really? The stock market has been hitting record highs throughout all of Biden's presidency. I mean, let's see. He took office in January of 2021. Let's go back to around January of 2021. Boom. All-time highs. All-time highs. Little dip. All-time highs. And then the stock market dipped or stagnated for a while. Folks, this is normal. The stock market doesn't always...
It's called a bull. This happens all the time in the stock market. It's called a bull, but this is a particularly large one. They're really common.
Go straight up. Sometimes it has to chill out or dip. We also got bad inflation news, and boom, October 2023. This is over a year ago. Back to all-time highs. All-time highs. If you can follow my cursor right here, you'll see that we're hitting all-time highs. Even 2 weeks ago, we were hitting all-time highs if you're following my cursor. And then when Trump becomes the president-elect, we go up like 2%, and people are saying this is the Trump boom. It's a new golden era. Come on.
It doesn't matter whether or not the economy has been doing amazingly under Biden, though. It matters that the people had the vibe the economy's been bad. People had to pay more for things at the grocery store despite, under Biden, wages rising to meet those prices. It doesn't matter. The vibes were off. This is a vibes-based vote. An economic vibes-based vote.
That is complete dishonesty, and I have proven it by showing you this chart right here. So we can immediately scratch that one off the list. She then says, migrant caravan at our border dissolves. Again, this is such a slippery use of wording.
Yay! They finally found... Guys, they finally found a way. They finally found a way to explain away the caravan never arriving and destroying America. Who remembers like 8 years ago how there was like a caravan of hundreds of thousands of millions of immigrants coming up to America, and it's been like 10 years as they've worked their way up to America, and we haven't heard about it. But now they have disbanded and dissolved at the border. They don't exist anymore. They all dissolved away. It dissolved. They finally have an explanation for why the caravan never came. Oh, God, these fucking grifters.
Literally 4 or 5 people decided to turn back because they didn't want to risk getting stuck at the border like people did during Trump's first term. But if you want to talk about the actual numbers, ever since July, the immigrant arrests at the border have been lower than Trump's last month in office, which means the encounters are lower. People are trying to get over here at lower rates. Illegal entry based on border arrests was lower in July 2024 than during Donald Trump's last month in office. In fact, if you look at the numbers since July, border arrests, border crossings, border apprehensions have objectively either matched or been lower than where Trump was during his first term. So going back to this tweet, the idea that migrant caravans at our border are starting to dissolve en masse, they're going back, it's over. The problem is not over, and Trump is not going to fix it. In the same way that this next one really pisses me off. It's such a distortion of truth. It's such a lie. It says Hamas calls for an end to war, and they've all been referring to this one Newsweek article that is total clickbait. It says Hamas calls for immediate end to war after Trump election win. But the thing is, Hamas has been calling for an end to the war every single week since the war started. It is a strategic way to make it seem like Trump is taking a win. Let me read this. Quote, the election of Trump as the 47th president is a private matter for Americans, said the Hamas political bureau. They then said, Palestinians look forward to an immediate cessation of the aggression. They say that every single week. They then say, and we look for assistance in achieving the legitimate rights of freedom, independence, and the establishment of their independent, self-sovereign state with Jerusalem as its capital. That is what Hamas said. Now, just remove your biases about the war. We're not talking about who's actually right in the war. Trump, in zero reality, is Trump going to grant Palestine a sovereign state with Jerusalem?
Well, Trump's gonna finish the job. Palestinians are done now, guys. They're cooked. They're like so cooked, dude. Like start opening up like your like spare rooms, all right, and start seeing if you can like smuggle like Palestinian refugees into the country or something. Like, good lord, it's Jover, guys. Like, y'all motherfuckers in Dearborn, Michigan should have gotten out and voted for Harris. That's all I'm saying. You should have gotten out and voted for Harris. You should have swung Michigan. You had the chance. You didn't. Everything that comes next, you had every opportunity to stop.
Jerusalem as its capital. No matter what your opinion on the war is, that has never been Trump's plan. There is no reality in which Trump is going to grant that to Hamas and immediately end the war. So when they say Hamas calls for end to war, they're literally just using Hamas's weekly call for a ceasefire that they do, and Trump is not going to grant that, meaning the ceasefire is not going to happen in 24 hours. Now, Bitcoin hits a record high. The thing is, the values of alternative currency tend to go up when volatility hits the market, or when people think there is potential volatility. When people think that our normal currency might get nuked because of tariffs, then yeah, Bitcoin will start to go to new highs. At the same time,
I do love the idea of Bitcoin hitting record highs being a standard by which we measure the US's success, as if like Bitcoin is some American currency or something, or American-centric thing, and it's not literally like the entire world of people buying and selling Bitcoin.
Trump has promised to make the U.S.
Talk about the American-centric worldview.
the cryptocurrency capital of the world, and he put his sons, Beavis and Butthead, in charge of World Liberty Financial, which means there is an insane conflict of interest when you're trying.
World Liberty Financial, by the way, is literally a crypto scam that Trump ran on his own followers. I wonder when they'll figure that out, too.
Trying to turn your country into the crypto capital while you own a cryptocurrency company. Okay, let's go to the next one. But after Bitcoin hits record high, we have Putin ready to end Ukraine war. No way these people are so easy at being manipulated. Putin has been calling for an end to the war since day one, but he uses slippery language. When he says we are going to end the war, he means that they get to retain any territory that they have captured. They get to keep large parts of Ukraine, and effectively it's just kicking the can down the road to another administration. So, in 2014, Putin invaded Crimea. He actually got a little bit of a win with Crimea, but he knew that he couldn't keep going, so he stopped the war in 2014. He stopped it. Less than a decade later, in 2022, he regrouped and he reinvaded. He went further. Now, the thing is, if Donald Trump says Putin will just end the war, gets to just keep what he has, Putin will then relaunch the invasion down the road, but the scary thing is, Trump, MAGA, people on Twitter will be spitting this as a massive win. And what did I say at the beginning of this video? We are fighting an information war, and we need to be pushing back. If this happened, and if Elon Musk began to relentlessly push on Twitter, push via the algorithm, that yeah, Trump took a massive win, the onus would be on us to push back, because we know the mainstream media is not going to. This is another annoying one right here. Qatar kicks out Hamas leaders. They are saying that because of Donald Trump, Qatar is kicking out Hamas. Dude, the Biden administration has been working on this for months. The Biden administration has been trying to get this done for months now. You cannot just take credit after months of hard work. Read this article. At U.S. behest, Qatar has ordered Hamas to leave Doha via Biden officials. Washington concluded terror group's presence in Qatar is no longer beneficial. I mean, Trump's not even in Washington. Trump has no control over Washington. Following a request by the U.S. from the Biden administration, Qatar told Hamas.
We're going to see a lot of people pretending like all of the success that the U.S. has accumulated in the last 4 years and for the next 3 months, because Trump's not actually president yet, but he still won the election. They're going to, because they have to kind of prematurely celebrate. Like, there can't really be like, oh, we won, but we also don't really, like, we haven't really won until Trump's sworn in. So they have to claim that Trump is so powerful that already, despite not being president yet, he is still having a positive impact. So instead of pointing to anything Trump's actually done, they're pointing to lies or things that Biden has done. And instead of even acknowledging the fact that Biden is the current president of the United States, they acknowledge these accomplishments as those that have come because of Trump's election.
Over a week ago that it must close its diplomatic office in Doha, senior Biden administration officials told the Times of Israel. The Biden administration has been working on this for months. We can go back and find articles of the Biden admin working hard on this. They sometimes do 8 to 12-hour negotiations, and the fact that Liz Wheeler, whoever Liz Wheeler is going to come on Twitter and say Qatar just kicked out Hamas leaders because of Biden, that is absolutely disgusting. I'm going to highlight that just because it's extra disgusting. This one is the real kicker. They then say EU will now buy US gas, not Russian gas. Yet this isn't a good thing. The EU is trying to align itself with the US interests so Trump doesn't start a trade war with the EU. Because If they can create aligned interests where they are buying our gas and then Trump tries to place tariffs or sanctions or start some kind of trade war on the EU or even on Ukraine, that will blow back in our face as well. So they are basically holding us hostage too, saying if you try to start any trade war, that's going to blow up both of our economies or gas prices at least. The next one says Putin will sell oil in US dollars. Again, this is not a good thing. The fact that Vladimir Putin is expecting Trump to enact such weak sanctions or remove sanctions, so much so that he can use or sell oil in USD or take advantage of our currency.
You gotta remember, though, that one of the big talking points against Hillary in 2016 was the legitimate argument that Hillary would start a war against Russia. Like, the narrative has been pushed since 2016 that the Dems are, deranged and hate Russia unjustly and unfairly. And so the American right are slowly but surely becoming more and more amenable to Russia because they see it as, the country that's an ally to their ideology that the Dems recognize as an enemy. And so, they see it as a mutual ally against the Democrats and the libs and the left.
Currency is not good. Ideally, sanctions will limit an enemy country's ability to take advantage of your currency or to sell oil in your currency, for example. So the fact that Putin now feels more comfortable trading in USD is not a good thing. Zelensky phones Trump and Elon. Yeah, no shit the president-elect is going to call Zelensky. That is normal. No matter who would have won, Zelensky would have hopped on the phone and chatted with them. It's almost even more scary the fact that Elon Musk was a part of this phone call, because I have a few thought processes here. Number one, the fact that Elon Musk essentially bought access to the highest level phone calls in the world is scary. Republicans will always say, oh, billionaire George Soros is influencing our politics. He wants to put a chip in people's brains and he's trying to influence Facebook. Elon Musk genuinely bought Twitter. He controls Twitter. He is now the inside man on the biggest conversations happening in the world right now regarding war. At the same time,
Are you guys ready for Elon Musk to have a government position now? Oh, brother. Oh, jeez. Elon Musk in government, we're so cooked.
Elon Musk has been providing Starlink to Ukraine for years now. So I did read an article saying Elon Musk talking to Zelensky about Starlink isn't that weird. That can happen. But it is weird because Elon Musk has been talking to Putin more than he's been talking to Zelensky. So we need to differentiate the two. If Elon and Zelensky had a phone call about Starlink, that is different than Trump, Elon, and Zelensky all hopping on a phone. And I'm sure Elon and Trump tried to use some sort of leverage that Putin probably planted in their brain to get Zelensky to stop. I guarantee Putin is playing Elon and Trump like puppet masters. And I bet you to some degree Elon Musk is playing Donald Trump like a puppet master. Elon Musk knows Donald Trump is smooth-brained. He has a soft brain he can be taking control of. Anyways, on to this next one. The New York City mayor, Eric Adams, ends vouchers for illegal immigrants. They've been doing this for a while. They've been ramping down for a while, but Republicans are so caught up in the, oh, we're being invaded. We're being invaded all around us, that they don't care about the actual facts of the situation. They don't care about the fact that even since July, immigrant arrests have been lower than under Trump's administration. But yes, even with all that being said, after taking such a massive loss, I think the least that we can admit is that Biden did F up the immigration problem for a few years. The least that we can admit after taking this...
I'd say he did a pretty decent job, all things considered. But yeah, the fact that Americans are so conservative on immigration and Biden... it would have been something that would have pushed away progressives. I would have had to, constantly tell my own audience, guys, Biden had to do this. It is an overwhelmingly popular thing to secure up the border. Americans do not like the idea of an open border and easy illegal immigration, even if this isn't how most of it is happening. It's just a winning policy. But yeah, Biden kind of resisted that and tried to stick very progressive with his policy for probably a bit longer than he should have, and might have kind of pushed away some more conservative Dems.
This big L is that Joe Biden from 2021 to maybe 2023, we didn't have the most ideal immigration laws in place. And then Langford did try to pass a bill. Absolutely. Langford did try to pass a bill, but it kind of just looks weak when we try to pass a bill 6 months before the election after a few years of the border not being too smooth. And I still love Biden. Biden had an amazing presidency, but objectively, we can admit that. Also, we can objectively admit that since July, the immigrant arrests have been lower than Trump's last month in office. Let's move on to the next one. The next one says Mexico to stop migrants at the U.S. border. Again, this has been happening for a while now. So Republicans think that Mexico has been very intentionally sending immigrants over the border. Actually, Republicans think that Mexico has been intentionally sending the worst of the worst, like emptying out their prisons and sending them over here. That is not happening. Mexico has wanted to work with the United States for a while now. They've been in talks for a while now. Mexico didn't randomly flip a switch 24 hours ago. There was literally one headline that said, Mexico in talks with Trump to blah, blah, blah. And people think that means Trump has immediately solved the problem, when no. Mexico was never emptying out their prisons. It's just not something that wanted to happen. Big US company to move out of China. And someone on Reddit said, what's more accurate would be, quote, luxury shoe brand moves half its operations out of China and most likely to Vietnam to avoid tariffs on goods bound for the US from China. So basically, Trump has been trying to tariff China, tariff China, tariff China. And now that US companies are moving out of China and manufacturing in other countries like Vietnam, they are trying to take that as a win, spin that as
which, of course, is already going to make those things more expensive, and the companies are going to cut costs, which are going to harm their workers. Man, I am so excited for reality to bite these people on the ass and for them to just start crying and whining about it. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Every single time I see a MAGA voter coming into my chat to, like, gloat about Trump winning, it just gives me, like, this sick little, like, bit of joy in my heart to know that they're going to be, like, so miserable later, and I have absolutely no reason to feel bad for them. Because they would never feel bad for you. Why should you spare a single bit of sadness for them as things start to catch up with their asses? Anyway, Pepper T21, thanks for the $5. I do appreciate it. Just want to let you know I didn't accidentally miss that or anything. I will read it in a moment. But yeah, as I was saying, if you enjoyed this segment, if you thought it was entertaining, enjoyable, or even educational, then please consider dropping a like, whether you're watching live or after the fact. A like is basically like casting a blue ballot for YouTube to push my content in the algorithm to get it in front of new eyes. On top of that, you can comment as well, which actually compounds on the effect of the like. So like, comment, I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more from me, subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video, because otherwise they will not. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias linked down below. I highly recommend you also join my fan Discord server. It is totally free to join, linked down below in the description, and on top of that, it's the main hub of my community and fan base, and I once a week on Fridays host a game event, a watch party, or a call-in stream in my Discord, and I announce all my new uploads and streams there. So I hope to see you there. It would be really cool to see you. And of course, finally, if you want to support me directly, help me keep the food on the table, the lights on, the roof above my head, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or even buying merch to the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless, though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good one.